I'm building a custom Firebird guitar, and I think I've gone as long as I possibly can without doing a trial build. Now, I might have said last time that I was going to actually start work on carving the neck in the next episode, but to do that I need to take all of the hardware that I've put onto the guitar off, including the bridge, the tailpiece and the tuners, and I thought, seeing as I've just had a big delivery of all the other hardware that I need to complete the build, it'd be a much better idea to actually get everything fitted properly and then strip it all down once and for all, do the neck, do all the finish sanding, get everything ready, and then we can start the finishing process. So I'm going to hold off on the neck carve for the time being and concentrate instead on getting all the other little bits and pieces finished off before we go any further. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is just fit the strap buttons, and these are pretty standard buttons that just accept a strap lock mechanism. I always use these, and it's simply a matter of drilling a couple of appropriately sized holes in the appropriate locations and screwing them in. Straightforward. I'm looking at a 2.5mm drill bit for that. Next up is to get the pickups finally fitted properly in place. I'll just start with the neck pickup. And we're actually quite lucky on this build because this little ledge where the two bits of the body join is really good for locating a square onto. So we can just make sure that they're nice and square, and simply all I'm going to do is I'll start with one, mark the position for the screw hole, and I'm going to go with a 1.5mm drill bit for these, and I've done that by just measuring the kind of thinnest bit of the screw between the threads. Okay, so that's the pickups fitted, looking really good, happy with the way they've gone in. So the next thing I want to look at is how this switch is going to fit. Now this is a Switchcraft 3-way toggle switch. The problem is though, I don't think my route's deep enough. So if I put that at the bottom of the route, that is proud. So that would not allow my pick guard to sit flush once we get to that stage. So much as I don't want to do it at this stage of the game, we need to get the router out and just relieve the bottom of this cavity a little bit. Now, if I kind of get the calipers onto it, I'm going to go at the thinnest point that I'm going to be routing, and that gives me about 29mm. and our cavity is currently 20 mil. So I've got loads and loads of material underneath this cavity, kind of 9 to 10 mil. So taking an extra 2 or 3 millimeters out of this little bit isn't going to do any harm whatsoever. So time to break out the little router and we'll get that cleaned out. And I've just got a straight pattern bit in this small router. I'm going to set that up to 23 mil depth of cut, so that should give me the extra 3 millimeters I need. And I'm just going to allow the bearing on this bit to follow what we've already cut, and that should get us down to the depth we need. And that's sorted that right out now. As you can see, that is well below where we need it to be. I've gone back into this channel a little bit just to give me a little bit of clearance for wiring and stuff, but that's kind of more belt and braces than anything else. So that's another little job ticked off the list. Okay, so next up, quick trial fit of all the controls. I've got these lovely little black knobs with the silver tops with volume and tone printed on them, which are kind of true to the original that I'm trying to replicate. And I've also got a set of these little thumb shredders, so little pointers to go under the control knobs just to indicate where you're at. I'm not 100% sure I'm going to use them, but I'll put them on in this instance just to see what they look like. And of course you can always let me know in the comments, thumb shredders or not. Okay, so let's get those stuck on. And there we have the fully mocked up guitar, and I'm thinking that looks absolutely splendid. Really, really happy with the way that all comes together. I think the knobs work really well with the pickups and everything else. I think it just gives it that classic Firebird look. The only bit we're missing really is the pick guard. I've got the material on order, so that should be with me in the next couple of days, and we can get one of those knocked up relatively quickly, I would have thought, and we can get that fixed into its final position. Okay, so I'd say that's mission accomplished for this little section. So what I'm going to do now is take absolutely everything back off the guitar again and get everything prepared, ready for when we finally get round to doing the neck carve. And there we are, all stripped back again. So from this view, it doesn't look like we've made a huge amount of progress, but That was a massive step forward to make sure that everything is fitted on properly. It seems a simple task, but sometimes things just won't line up for one reason or another, and you spend ages messing around with them. Luckily on this occasion, the worst that we had to do was do that additional little bit of routing. Other than that, dead straightforward. So really happy with what I've managed to achieve. From here, I can quite confidently go on and finish off carving the neck, get all of that done, knowing that I'm not going to have to mess around with anything else. Once we've got the neck carved, it's then just a case of getting into the finishing process really, with some fine finish sanding, etc. Quite a bit of progress made today, very happy with that. So seems like a really good point to leave this episode. I'm going to be back in a couple of days time when we finally will get the rasp out and get some material off the back of this neck. Until then, like if you've liked, subscribe if you haven't done so, and I'll look forward to seeing you then. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye.